Hi beautiful, welcome back to my channel. Today I am going to do a full face of Danessa Myricks beauty. If you guys don't know, Danessa Myricks is a professional makeup artist and photographer. And if you follow her on Instagram, oh my god, her Instagram page is like the ultimate inspiration page. It's very ethereal, very editorial, very creative, and lots of illumination. I feel like her style is very illuminated, kind of reminiscent of a glazed donut. So if you're not really into that, then you probably won't like it. So I have a few products right here and I thought I would create a full face. I have 4 of the waterproof cream palettes out of, I think she's got 6. I wasn't able to pick up the rest because I didn't not like them. So the first one that I picked up is this metallic palette, which is called Future is Female. So these shades right here are metallic and you got different kinds, and this is perfect for a smoky eye. I have used this like vintage gold shade and oh my god, look how pretty that is. It's very creamy, very smooth to the touch. It's not thick, it's very lightweight, and it lasts throughout the day, hence it's called waterproof. And you don't even need to set this because it completely dries down and it's pretty good. Like the sparkles that you have in a cream formula, it's really nice. The second one is called Fire and Ice. And this is more of a highlighting palette, and this bronze shade right here is a perfect all over lid color, and you get different types of tones. So this one is like a white gold, and then you have more of a lavender pearlescent, and then you got the pink, and then you got like a straight up white, and then more silvery gray tone shade. And yeah, this is a nice highlighting palette. I have definitely used this in my previous videos. Another one is just a boring one. This is the primary palette. I purchased this for the reason being that this could come in handy, especially if you wanting to color correct or to create your custom shade. You could definitely use this to create a foundation. Also, the yellow shade and the white shade are both helpful shades when it comes to neutralizing your foundation color. So I picked that one up, and also the black in here is really good, so you could use that as an eyeliner or as an eyeshadow base. The latest addition to my waterproof cream palette is this one right here. It's the Essentials palette. I wasn't able to pick it up a while back because it had sold out, but Beautylish restocked them, so I managed to grab one. And this is such an amazing all over palette. What I love about Danessa Myricks branding is that everything has got an endless purpose to it. You could use it pretty much all over your face and body. Then I have the Vision Cover foundation, and this one is in the shade N06. This is sadly only half the amount of a full-size foundation. This only contains 15 mils of product, whereas the normal foundation contains 30. I have read a lot of reviews online, and a lot of people say that this is such an extreme, full-on coverage, very concentrated, very pigmented type of foundation where you could get away with just like a pea size, and then that could pretty much cover half of your body. So I'm excited to try that. And last but not the least, I have the mini kit. So this is her Illuminating veil. I opted for the kit instead of buying the full size because in this you get 3 different illuminating veil. I do know that they sell the mini size of this one for $12, and this is Luna, and that's the only shade that they sell, which is on the website at least that I bought it from. And then I have the more opalescent pink, which is called Synergy, and then you have the more bronzy illuminating veil, which is called Radiance. Enough blabbering, without further ado, let's hop right into the video. So I'm going to start with applying the illuminating veil, and this one is in Luna. I love that it comes with a pump because I don't like it when the product is messy. So here is what Luna looks like. Ooh, that is so pretty. It doesn't smell like anything. Oh my gosh, that is so pretty. It does have a little bit of like glitter peeking through, but because it's an illuminating product, it's a given. But also I think I swatched the metallic shade. That's probably why that there's more glitter, but I mean, from afar you can't really tell. Mind you, I already have a glow from the moisturizer that I've used, and a little goes a very long way. I still have quite a lot of product. This would be a good mixing tool with the foundation. So I'm going to pump the foundation. I'm actually quite scared because this is such a very thick foundation. Oh my gosh. So I squirted that much, and as you can see, it's very, very thick, and that's what an 06 looks like. It might look a little bit too dark on my skin. It does have a moisturizer scent to it. I only use the product that I've swatched on this side of my face, and it pretty much covered majority of it. It gave me a light medium coverage, which is bizarre. So you really need a very tiny amount. And this has got a soft matte finish, but because we already have the illuminating veil, obviously it's gonna look more glowy. But oh my god, so far I'm only using that teeny tiny pump that I pumped out. And watch, I have a pimple right there. And this side of my face has got more scarring, but it covered. So I feel like the best tool for this foundation would have to be a brush, because if you use a beauty blender, it will easily soak up the product. And I'm still going, and I'm just using that teeny tiny pea size, not even a pea size, it's more like half a pea size amount of foundation, and I'm impressed. So I'm just gonna apply my concealer because I don't want to use that on my eye. I'm actually going to set my under eye just a teeny tiny bit because I tend to crease, and then I'm going to move on and apply the rest of the product. I'm going to cream bronze, and I'm going to go and use the Essentials palette. I feel like I'm gonna have to dip in that middle shade up the top. I'm just gonna apply a teeny tiny bit because this is very concentrated and I don't want to apply too much. It has got a little bit more plummy undertone to it as opposed to being golden, so it will give you a more sun-kissed, sunburnt type of look. Product is actually very blendable. That's a nice bronzer. It added a little bit of warmth on my face without making it too intense, as well as give dimension to my face. So I am going to try the darker shade, which is this one right here, just a teeny tiny bit, just to have a feel on what it will look like. And I'm going to go and apply that a little bit further back as a contour shade. It also blends nicely using fingers, so when in doubt, use your finger as your tool. I am going to use the same shade and mix this shade right here and this shade to create a blush look. So I'm gonna dip back and forth, kind of swirl that on my hand, and then apply on my cheek. So that shade gave me a more terracotta burnt orange type of blush, and it's quite nice. And I'm using a very small amount because it's so pigmented. So a little trick when using Danessa Myricks waterproof cream product is that use a very light hand, and if possible, use a less dense brush such as dual fiber brush, because it will pick up just the right amount of product without being heavy-handed. For the highlighter, I am going to go and use this one right here, which is Fire and Ice, and I'm going to mix this shade right here and the gold shade. Again, I like to pick up the shade and pop that on my hand and use my hand as a palette, and then kind of mix them together to create a more new champagne tone, which is that one right there. It's not too intense, and I'm going to pop that on the areas of my cheek that I want to accentuate. So I'm going to use a brush, and a little goes a very long way. And I'm going to pop a little bit on my inner corner. So now I'm just going to quickly set the rest of my face, just to make sure that everything is locked in. And I love the fact that you definitely can set over the waterproof cream palette without getting rid of the pigment. Moving on to the eyes, I am going to go back to the Essentials palette, and for transition shade, I am going to go and use the shade that we use as a bronzer. Again, I'm gonna use a dual fiber blending brush, and I'm just gonna pop that all over the crease and the eyelid area. To deepen that a little bit, I am going to try and dip into this shade right here, the one that we use to contour. Again, a teeny tiny bit goes a really long way, and I'm going to focus that on the outer V and slowly pull that towards the inner part of the lid. For a day-to-day, this is honestly a good one and done palette. All you need is a foundation and a concealer and a powder, and then the rest would have to be the Essentials palette. I think that's why it's called Essentials palette. I have not filled in my brows yet, so we will do that off camera. So I'm going to use that same darker shade and pop that on the lower lash line. So that will add like a nice depth to the eyes. And I am going to deepen it a little bit more, so I'm going to pop and use that maroon shade, pat that on this part of the eye, and slowly blend it in. I really wanted to use the bronze in here, so I'm going to pop that all over the lid. And then I am going to use a brush and go back to the shade just to pack that on and create a crease. I am going to go to the Fire and Ice, pick up this shade right here, which is more of a white shade, and I'm going to pop that in the center of the lid, just so we have a little bit of gradient, and also it will lift that shadow. And then I'm going to use the same shade just to pop that shade in the inner corner of the eye. I'll just quickly line my eyes, apply mascara, do the brows, and then we are going to go back and do the lips because I want to use the Essentials palette to do a nude lipstick. Honestly, I'm so obsessed with how everything turned out. It's very skin-like, yet it's kind of glowy and simple at the same time. So for the lips, if I could find my lip brush, I want a more muted brownie type of nude. So I think I am going to mix these two shades right here to create a perfect shade, because this one has got more of like a gray peach to it, and then the other one has got more of a warm tone to it. So I'm going to apply this lighter shade here. And then the middle shade on the outer. This is like the type of nude that I typically like. It's quite cool tone, but I think I'm going to add a little bit of this shade right here, which is a little bit warm. So this shade kind of reminds me of the Hug Me from MAC, and I'm so obsessed. It's very creamy. It's very easy to blend on the lips. If you have a really dry lips, I feel like it will sink into the fine lines. It has a little bit of moisture, enough to make it comfortable, but I want to top it with a little bit of gloss. So I'm just gonna apply the Kosas Wet Lip Oil. And here is my final makeup look. I am so obsessed with how this makeup look turned out. Everything just worked out beautifully, like the blush, the bronzer, a little bit of contour, like it's not too intense to the point where you could actually see it. I only set my face with a light veil of powder and everything seemed to look great. I absolutely love this Essentials palette. If you were to get a palette from Danessa Myricks, I would highly suggest these two right here, the Fire and Ice and the Essentials, because with these two you could create a whole bunch of looks. I love how the glow sits on top of the foundation, because as the foundation dried down it gave me a matte finish, but because I added in a lot of cream products, it definitely gave it a nice soft matte finish. And I love the lips and the eyes, so everything is a plus. I am so happy I was able to try the products, and I feel like these are going to be a staple in my collection. So yeah, please make sure to subscribe to my channel for more updates. I hope you guys like this video. Let me know what you would like to see next, and I will catch you on the next one. Bye.